Welcome back to RBD Block Challenge. I'm Cindy Cloward, and today we are working on block number 9. It is designed by Fran Gulick, and it's called Star Blossom. This is what it looks like out of our batiks, and this is what it looks like out of our Riley Blake Designs Confetti Cotton Solids. But whatever you're sewing with, we're glad you're sewing with us. Like always, the first thing you need to do is download the pattern from our Riley Blake Designs website. Again, called Star Blossom. We're going to put the pattern over here. Gives you all the cutting instructions. I have cut out all my pieces. Now we're all ready to sew. So I'm going to put on my glasses. The first thing it tells you to do in the pattern is to grab your B squares and your E squares. There should be 4 of each. And since we are going to make the same size squares in the next step, I'm also going to grab my D squares. There's going to be 2 of each, and my H squares. Now the pattern tells you to mark it corner to corner. So I'm going to mark 1. But I also have a Seam So Easy guide that saves me a step. So I'm going to use that on the rest of them. This is your guide mark, and you're going to sew on each side of the line, 1/4 inch from the line, making 2 half square triangles per set of squares. So we'll put those together, right sides together if you have a right and a wrong side. And then you put this green and pink squares together. We're just going to chain piece all together. And I like to set my stitch length at 2.0. And then I'm using my guide right now on the tip on the side of the foot, and a 1/4 inch to the side. I line up my bottom corner like that. All right, we've chain pieced this, so let's just clip through all our connecting threads. And now we're going to cut right down the middle. Right down the center. And this is the one we marked, so I can just line up my marked line with my ruler. We are good to go. Now it's time to take it to our pressing station. We're going to press all of these half square triangles. And now a little tip for you is we're going to press to the dark side on the orange, but on this block right here, we're going to press to the green side. It'll help us nest our seams later. So I just kind of loosen up all these seams. You're giving them a quick press. And now we're going to open up our half square triangles, and we're pressing to the green side on these blocks right here. Let it cool underneath our clapper. We're pressing to the orange side here. And repeat. So we've got all of our half square triangles. We just need to trim them up. Get out this rotary mat designed by Sue Daly. I'm going to put my glasses back on. They need to be trimmed up to 2 3/4 inches. So since we don't have a square up ruler, that's exactly that. I'm going to use this little Cute Cuts ruler for 2 3/4 inches. Now what you're going to want to do is line up your center seam right like this and pull it out to 2 3/4 inches on the bottom. And let's see, that's right there. So there's not much to shave off, just a little. And we just have to trim off this dog ear right there. That's what it looks like. Again, lining up 2 3/4 on that center, lining the diagonal from that corner down to here. I'm going to trim off the dog ear. Okay, put that there. We'll clean up my workspace a little bit. Stick that over there. And believe it or not, those are the only little half square triangle pieces that we need. We're ready to assemble our block. So we are going to lay everything out right now. So the corners, we've got our A, go in all 4 corners. That's just a solid square. And then on each of these corners right here, we've got our half square triangle, orange and white facing each other. We'll keep moving those. And then the green is going to face towards the center. So this is how it's going to look like this. You can see it coming together so nicely. And then we have this aqua square in the center, and we're going to have the aqua on the outside. Just makes it for a very interesting block. Kind of got this sashing look, separating the star a little bit. So that's how it looks. Isn't that fun? And this is how I assemble it. They said you could do a row at a time. And then you're going to sew all your rows together. So I do this method. I just flip it over that inside. And you're going to be grateful that you flipped to the green side, because look how well those nest like that. I'm going to flip those all over. Again, we're nesting those seams right there. And if you want to put a pin in now, now's a great time to put a pin in. I think I am just going to not put a pin this first time, this first flip. Bring this over to my sewing machine and just grab one piece at a time. And we're going to chain piece this together. Grab our next unit, making sure that clicks into place. And I just kind of hold it with my finger. Again, you can put a pin in it, but I'm just going to hold it with my finger so it stays clicked in place. And just sew down that side. Now these 2 little rectangles. And sew that next. Okay, let's bring this over here. Open it up, make sure all of our little pieces are going the right direction. Looks good. Now I'm going to flip these over, and now I'm going to pin those at the top. So when I move this, all these little sections, that they will be right in place. And they're not gonna shift. It gets a little more fiddly the more pieces you add. So then I start pinning. These are our new glass head pins that we just arrived this year. And you're like, why glass head pins? Well, glass head pins, you can iron on them because they're made out of glass. And unlike our bird pins that are made out of plastic, they're so cute, but of course they'll melt if they get under your iron. These will not. I use these a lot of times when I'm clothing or, you know, other items where sometimes I iron with pins on, not usually, but you know, when you need to, it's nice to have a glass head pin. That's what those are for. And there are Riley Blake Fun Aqua. Okay, that's all pinned. Let's take it to the machine and let's sew. Okay, let's bring this back. It's looking good. Let's add our last row on top of there. And then we'll just have 4 more seams after that. Again, since we flipped those opposites, you can nest that seam there. If you want to pin top and bottom, you can, but a lot of times I just hold it into place when I'm sewing so it clicks into place when I stitch over that. Okay, let's go sew. All right, now that it is all the sides are sewn on, we just need to do these last 4 seams. And the pattern tells you which way to flip your units so it nests better. So it tells you to flip these orange pieces to the outside, and then these are gonna flip to the inside. And I pin at all those intersections. So like that. And then look, we want to nest that, kind of that sashing piece in the center. So that's going to go right in there. Now what's nice about these pins, if you want to take it to your pressing station and pin an iron or press on top of this, yeah, you're fine to do that. I'm just gonna, while I'm here, I'm going to just do all of my strips, pin them into place. For now, I think I'm just gonna do 2 little sections. I am gonna take it to my pressing station. And like I said, I've got these glass head pins, so I can just press right on top of them. So that is ready to sew, and then I'm gonna press this right like that. Okay, let's take it back here. That's looking great. What you want to see is these points just lining up right there. It's looking really good. Okay, let's do our last 2 seams. gonna pin them into place. And if you take this extra time to pin, you're gonna have much better results when you go to the machine and sew. So I really think I recommend for this block these glass head pins. I found them very helpful. And again, get some Riley Blake Designs Aqua glass head pins, and you're going to really enjoy them in your sewing, and especially for this block. Okay, we're ready for our last two seams. Okay, let's take it to our pressing station. Take a look. It's looking so good. I'm going to press that open. And what we want to see is these intersections all lining up. And they all look pretty darn good. The last thing we need to do is make sure this is squared it up to 10.5 inches. You just line everything up. And it doesn't always often happen, but this block looks perfect, so I don't have to trim at all. So this was a lot of fun to put this block together. I can't wait to see what Fran Gulick does with her own block. But we're ready to move on to block number 10. Join us next time for the block called Follow the Leader, designed by our friend Sue Daly.